Howdy. Little earthquake watch in Europe. That's really interesting. We are at the Lager See, which is marked as a caldera. Plenum eruptions, interaction between hot magma and water, hydrothermal explosions. Last eruptions about 11 to 10,000 years ago. It's dormant. 5 hours ago, 6 kilometers in depth, there was a small earthquake. Just on the lake's shore. So we might have to keep this even more under, how to put it, surveillance. Since we might have to expect something more going on. But I wanted to talk especially about this one quake, which was really interesting yesterday. This one. Switzerland. Engelberg, which means Angel's Mountain. Depth under the epicenter 11 kilometers, 1.9 in strength. So, some of you maybe have heard me talking about cryptodomes, rhyolithic lava, geothermal activity, and how all this could mean that basically glaciers could be volcanoes. Or the source of the glacier is a volcano, and the glacier itself is a magma flow or lava stream made mainly out of water. It just depends on the height, if there's permafrost in the region or not. Height or latitude, you get it. If it's cold enough, it will freeze. You get a glacier. If it's warm, there will be just a lake. Check this out. That's a monastery. And the quake is literally on the ground of the monastery. History has taught us that whatever new religion is entering to some other religion's grounds, they will destroy evidence of the religion which has there been before. They do everything to erase all the traces and things from the ancient people in order to establish a new rulership, religion-wise. So, since I am watching all the time for geothermal activity and science, not only that we have here really nicely the polar configuration, and actually this should be red and not blue, but this doesn't matter now too much because probably they don't know what they are doing, those people in this monastery. But I am not here to judge anyone. It's just an observation. So I made some research, and we are in the middle of the Alps. We have lakes, we have rivers, and all what you need. Let's check out quickly one of those here. Or maybe we just don't, because we don't get any better resolution of the picture. But just, I mean, what I try to point out is there is water pouring out of the mountain everywhere. Why? Because it's all part of the bigger picture. So now, here's the monastery, here's the quake. That's a screenshot of that. And this here is a geothermal activity map. And I think it's easy to understand. This region is hotter than this or than this, and here we don't have basically anything. So, how much of a coincidence is that the monastery is in the region of where we have the most geothermal activity in that town or village? And here's another picture, probably approximately with the same, but it's just zoomed out much more. And you can see here on this map that the region where we have, I should use another color. The region where we have the most geothermal activity is quite small. And here is the monastery. And that's the same picture from above. That's the red circle from the quake. And you can see the monastery there. So the question is, or I think, it's not a coincidence that we have a really big monastery on the place with geothermal activity. Now, just a few words about the Engelberg monastery. Again, it's not said here, but Engelberg means Angel Mountain. And for those people who don't know what an angel is, or where they come from, what they mean with an angel, it's a plasma discharge event in the skies. It's plasma filaments, which are forming the wings of the angels. And they must have been really impressive, since we are talking still nowadays about angels, and everybody knows how an angel look. Everybody knows how angels look. The wings, feather filamentary structure of plasma. In the skies, the interaction between Earth as a capacitor and the cosmic cycles. Engelberg, Angel Mountain. So now I explained quickly about angels. For those who don't know what mountains are, mountains quite likely haven't been formed by tectonic movements, one plate crashing into another, and then just there's growing Alps. There would be no way there would be water pouring out of any mountain if they would have been created like that. Because there wouldn't be any connection made. Maybe somewhere there could be a water well or something, but it just, because it would have happened randomly. But since we have wells, mineral quakes, hot springs, and all this kind of stuff all over the Alps, some random occurrence cannot explain that. And I have been showing geothermal maps of Europe and the Alps and all these kind of things. And I have been watching much more of those than you probably think, because I'm not doing videos about everything I find. I have no time for that. And I don't know if anyone really cares about that neither. But anyway, mountains are formed by supersonic winds. Ionized, they melted materials, and they've got fused together. And of course, it depends where you start. When this event is happening again, 12,000, 6,000 year cycles, magnetosphere is weakening, and we get basically lightning bolts of unimaginable proportions, static electricity in the air, downpour events of unprecedented magnitude, and winds no one ever could even imagine being possible on this planet. But since weather is driven entirely electrically, and mountains are petrified weather, that's why we find the same patterns in the sky and on the ground. And because water is so important in making the connection between the grounds and the heavens, it will rise up, it will make the connection, and it will maintain the connection until the event is over, until the equilibrium is established again and the event somehow dies down until it maybe starts again once. And that's why we have all those springs in the mountains, because they are petrified connections between the groundwaters and the waters of the heaven where they met. Groundwater will rise up, the water from the heavens comes down. Rain. Somehow you could also think as above, so below. If you watch a lightning strike, which hits the ground, you could imagine there's, in a way, a similar thing going on underneath the ground as well. And it goes as steep as it goes up, at least. Angelmountain. Angelmountain Abbey is a Benedictine abbey in Engelberg in the canton Obwalden in Switzerland. The monastery was founded in the year 1120. Really a long time ago. By Konrad von Sellenburen and settled with monks from the Muri monastery. The buildings were built after the devastating monastery fire in 1729 and are among the largest Baroque complexes in central Switzerland. The largest organ in Switzerland is located in the monastery church. In its 11 operations, which since 2017 also include a vineyard on Lake Biel, its own external hotel, and the Engelberg Abbey School. Engelberg, Angelmountain Abbey, sounds much better. Angelmountain Abbey employs around 120 secular workers and is the second largest employee in Engelberg after the Engelberg Trübse Titlis Mountain Railways. The medieval monastery was repeatedly destroyed by fires. In addition, the plague and political disputes repeatedly afflicted the Engelberg Valley in the High and Late Middle Ages. I really wonder how it can burn down all the time. This somehow sounds really strange. I know they use candles a lot. Especially back in the old days, before they invented lamps and such things. 5G network. But I want to show you maybe this still. Where was it? Titlis. Because Engelberg Trübse Titlis AG. This is the logo of the Titlis mountain. Okay. We are now on Google Maps. Titlis Glacier, Engelberg. You can go into the mountain. You can go into the magma stream, lava stream, glacial caves, caldera lakes, really steep slopes. But I wanted to show you how the mountain itself looks, that you understand about the logo. And for example, that's not what I wanted to show you. According to common theory, these mountains. They were just pushed up from underneath, and they stayed like that. But they have no explanation how these vertical structures came into being. It was an electrical discharge event. And I have to show you once Ben Hyde's video. Actually, I'll show it now. So now I don't want to bore you with this too much. When he's explaining a few things, I just want to basically show you what he's been doing in his lab. But just have a listen to him. Ben Hyde.
His name is Benjamin Hyde, and he is a science presenter on the news station Fox 13 out of Salt Lake City, Utah. We asked Ben to introduce himself and to describe his efforts to spark inspiration and interest in the sciences among today's youth.
This is Benjamin Hyde, and I have been studying physics, specifically quantum physics, for the better part of 2.5 decades. It's been a passion of mine. It's something that I love and I really enjoy. And now, 2.5 decades later, I realized that the reason why I was so fascinated with it is because I like understanding the fundamentals of things, reality. And quantum physics, from my old understanding, was that where that explanation was going to come from. I wanted to know what everything was made of. And so I studied it, and I did what everybody in this field did. I just took what was given to me and accepted it. And because I didn't have anything different at the time, I said, okay, this is what it is. And it didn't really dawn on me that it didn't make sense. And if it didn't, I'm just like, well, I'll just roll with it. I remember specifically a few years ago when dark matter and dark energy really hit the stage, and I learned that 96.5% or whatever it is of the known universe was either dark matter and dark energy. And I thought, wow, that is a profound amount of stuff in the universe that we don't know anything about. So I justified it in my mind that basically anything was possible because most of what we knew, we didn't know. So as I'm studying quantum physics, particle physics, cosmology, I of course ran across videos from the electric universe, because I would go to YouTube and I would watch, Brian Greene, the World Science Festival videos, love those for a while. And of course the electric universe videos would pop up every once in a while, and I'm like, great, I'll watch those too, and I did. But what happened, and this is funny, every time I would study physics, I would get to a burnout mode. I would study it for a few weeks and I would just get so frustrated that I just would lose interest in it. And now, looking back on it, I realized that was because I was studying nonsense and I was trying to bang this garbage stuff into my head. And there was a part of my head that was just saying, Ben, this isn't real. This is a mistake.
So, about the mountain before. Just give me a second. I will put a link below. Watch the whole video in your own pace. Maybe it's somewhere here.
If I bring it further away from the dust plate and just go back to the electric field effects, you'll see that that little nodule remains. It stays in place. And you can touch it, and of course you can smash it with your finger. It doesn't take much. But what's interesting is that it's that instant petrification that we hear about, that Peter Jupp talked about. It literally looks like something like that is happening. It forms a little column, a little bead that holds itself in place, even though all the dust around it, as you can see, is flying away, is being excavated.
So, they are much better. Somewhere he's like really building mountains in a smaller scale. And they dig up like basalt pillars or whatever material you just get hand, for example, in the Alps. Titlis Mountain. So I have no idea what I was trying to tell you still, but I leave it here. Probably, hopefully, you weren't too bored watching that. Thank you. Bye.